If you had told me years ago that my 60s would be the most freeing, exciting, and on purpose decade of my life, that just wouldn't have made any sense to me at all. Knowing me, I probably would have smiled politely and changed the subject. But now that I'm living it, I'm going to tell you, my 60s are my best decade ever, hands down. And I've got 12 very real, very personal reasons why, and some of them might surprise you. Let's start with the one that changed almost everything. I stopped living for other people's expectations. Here's what I realized. A lot of us never stop living by should. We just get better at hiding how heavy they feel. But somewhere in my 60s, I started asking, whose voice is that in my head? Is it my parents? My peers? Some outdated version of me? And what would happen if I stopped chasing approval I didn't even want anymore? It didn't happen overnight, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. This was the beginning of the shift. That shift made me start even asking bigger questions. Like, what else have I been dragging around that I don't actually need anymore? I made peace with my past and took back my power. You don't need to drag every mistake, heartbreak, or bad decision into your next chapter, but most of us do. Some people carry it forever and never even question it. But for me, I just got tired of holding it all. So I decided to put it down, and not to be noble or virtuous or even evolved. I just wanted to feel lighter. Like, that's it at the time. And the second I reclaimed that emotional energy, I had space to dream again. So I got clear on what I wanted and realized clarity is not the same as a plan. I always had specific dreams. I just didn't have a timeline or an actual plan to make them happen. And I didn't know that not having one was why they always felt out of reach. I was waiting for my brain to magically connect the dots. And let's just say, it does not work like that. Once I realized that I needed to lead my dreams instead of waiting for the universe or my brain to magically map it out, everything started shifting. But what if you think you've missed your chance? I realized it's not too late to create something amazing. This idea that your best years are behind you, it's one of the biggest lies we're fed. You're not too late. You're just on a different timeline. And when you stop comparing yours to everyone else's, you realize how much power you still have. New career path, new version of yourself, a totally different lifestyle. It's not only possible, it's deeply fulfilling if you stop letting the clock intimidate you. And once I stopped being intimidated, something else happened. I stopped worrying about what people think. Up until not too long ago, I used to overthink every single move. What if they think I'm too much? What if they think I'm too late? What if they think I'm too weird? But somewhere along the way, I realized no one's actually thinking about me that much at all. And even if they are, that doesn't mean I have to carry their opinions. Letting go of that weight gave me the space to actually hear my own voice. And that voice, she had a lot to say. I started trusting my intuition, and turns out she's smart. For most of my life, I second guessed myself, even when something felt clearly off or exactly right. Didn't matter. I'd feel that internal nudge, but then override it with doubt, logic, or someone else's opinion. Eventually, I realized what I was ignoring was my own intuition. And here's the thing, intuition's a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Now, when that gut pull shows up for me, I don't argue. I don't need a spreadsheet. I don't need a pros and cons list. Some decisions don't make logical sense at all, but they do make soul sense. The kind that settles in your chest, not your head. And it doesn't always come with proof or a plan, but it does come with clarity. And the more I trusted that inner yes or no, the more grounded I felt. But there was one area of my life where that trust rewired everything. I broke free from scarcity thinking around money. Now, this is a big one for me because for years, I believed money had to be hard, that I had to earn enough abundance through struggle. If I wanted more, that probably meant I was being greedy. But I've since realized I didn't want more to impress anyone. I wanted to feel secure. I wanted to feel generous. And most of all, I wanted to feel free. And when I focused on those feelings instead of the fear, it started totally rewiring my brain. And that's what helped me make better, more aligned decisions over time. The better I felt about money, the more I realized something else I'd been doing for way too long. I stopped apologizing for wanting more out of life. More ease, more connection, more creativity. There's this old belief that wanting more makes you greedy. But you know what I learned? It makes you human. We're meant to want things. That's how life grows. That's how we grow. And when you stop apologizing for your desires, you actually start living them. And when you stop pretending you're fine with less than what you really want, you stop settling and start shifting. Because wanting more isn't the problem. Pretending you don't want it is the problem. That's when you finally start building a life that actually fits, one that makes sense to your soul. And for me, that meant making a few very real changes to how I treat my body every single day. I took my physical energy seriously and it changed everything. I've always known the basics: sleep, movement, food, and hydration. I just didn't prioritize them. I treat them like a when I have time kind of thing instead of building them into the core of how I live. But when I started giving those habits the spotlight they deserved, my energy came back naturally, steadily, and without the crash. And with that physical fuel, everything else got easier. And once I had that kind of energy, I didn't want to waste it hiding anymore. I let go of everything's fine and started telling the truth. I never tried to be perfect. I just avoided talking about what wasn't working for me. When people asked how I was, I'm fine became the default even when I wasn't. But in my 60s, I started letting people in. I didn't spill my whole life story to everyone, but I stopped hiding behind the mask. And that vulnerability made my relationships deeper, my self-trust stronger, and my life more real, which led me to something I never expected: something that made everything work better and faster. I learned that alignment fuels achievement, not the other way around. For years, I chased goals because I thought they'd make me feel successful. Now I focus on getting aligned first. Alignment means your values match your actions. Your schedule matches your priorities. Your life actually feels like it fits you. But it also means that the way you think, feel, and believe is finally in harmony with the life you're creating on the outside. That's the kind of alignment that magnetizes the right people, the right opportunities, and the right momentum. And once I really understood that, I realized something even bigger. I'm not running out of time. I'm right on time. This idea that life is winding down after 60? Nope. For me, it's expanding. I'm not trying to go back in time or hold on to my youth. I'm building something from right here with everything I've learned and everything I still want to experience. There's no race, there's no deadline, just a deeper, richer rhythm, and I'm finally in step with it. So, yes, my 60s are my best decade ever. Not because everything is perfect, but because I feel clear, alive, and fully myself in a way I never have before. And if you're heading into your 60s or already in them and wondering if it's too late for a fresh start, I'll say this: your story is not over. You're just getting to the good part. See you in the next one.